One of my favorite plans.
Yeah, I know. Same thing with music. It's like, oh, let's just do this. I want to start.
Yeah,
I love jamming.
Yeah, jam's the best.
Yeah.
So do you guys have you're playing in tons of bands right now. How do you organize your schedule with that?
Yeah, it's all over the place too. For the most part, I set aside Tuesdays and Saturdays for full band jams.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 bands, so we do 1 night a week each for full band jams, and then try and do my homework on off nights.
Yeah.
So keeps me busy. I got to keep my chops up though, so I probably work on stuff probably at least an hour a night.
Yeah, you got to do that. I mean, that's the worst thing when you work on your chops enough to get something out of it, and then it's like, oh, well, I can do that now, and you kind of start to feel safe and comfortable with it. And
your limbs have to be constantly in motion, and I find even if I take a couple days off, it's like, man, I suck.
Totally can tell.
Yeah.
I think it was a B.B. King thing I heard a long time ago where he's like, if I don't practice 1 day, I can tell, and if I don't practice 2 days, the band can tell, and if I don't practice 3 days, the crowd can tell, and that's like you're fired at that point.
Oh, I know. You have to constantly keep up with it, and it's like working out, right? If like
totally
taking cheat days and stuff like that, it adds up after a while too, right? But
that's me. I've been taking cheat days on the workouts. I try to. I had a better schedule when I was younger for exercising, and then I got older and I was like, oh, well, I'm pretty comfortable. And so I kind of like lost my routine a little bit. And then now it's like, oh, well, that's not really like staying where it's supposed to.
Winter was like that for me, man. Like it was like you get stuck in that groove and like you're not going outside as much. And like I'm lucky I have a little bit of workout equipment in my own house. Otherwise, I'd probably be pretty large. But drumming helps too, right? Like it keeps the metabolism going, your heart rate's going all the time. So
you get the drummers tend to all be like have some pretty nice sculpture going there because it's like the low impact long term thing. You're just like holding your arms up.
Make sure your back is straight and your posture is good, because if your posture is not good, like I want to be able to move around the kit kind of like this, as opposed to me stretching out and reaching things. I can just mainly go like this around the kit and not have to worry twice about anything. Some people ruin their back by making weird moves and,
that would be me.
Slouching.
For sure.
Slouching over is the worst.
Yeah. And then how does that affect like the different heights of your drums? Because I see the snare guys, like I heard something, I think the rule of thumb is like a snare is supposed to be like between your knees and your belly button, or at least like least up to your belly button or something.
Yeah, right here is, I'd say, a good height. And then, like my snare is flat. So I get the best rebound with a flat snare drum. Like I see a lot of guys doing this, and I'm thinking, man,
you used to do that in high school.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. When you're young and inexperienced, like even a lot of really good players play like that. I just don't understand it because it's not very good for your playing.
It seems to like when you hit it, like the rebound doesn't come back at the right angle. Like it's like trying to bounce a football.
Exactly.
Like you bounce and it just goes flying to the left.
Like you see Steve Smith from Journey, and his snare is actually not flat. It's kind of the other way. And a lot of those guys who use the traditional grip are using like a swinging like a chopstick. It's such a jazzy thing. But you get the best rebound from that sort of angle.
I guess maybe because you're kind of pulling it towards yourself anyway, so you're still kind of maybe linear or something.
Exactly.
I remember seeing a Buddy Rich solo. I guess where he famously was like doing a roll on the inside of the rim.
Oh, I watch Buddy Rich stuff all the time. Incredible.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Oh man, like
obviously.
Yeah, yeah, he was like one of the best of all time, and for his era, Gene Krupa is like the only other guy that I could think of that comes close.
Yeah, no. See, I probably don't have a big repertoire of jazz drummers. I know. Oh geez, and even those ones I know, I'm kind of forgetting their names. But
yeah.
I always mix it up with the drum teacher at U of M, the drum professor, Dizzy. Quincy Davis is his name.
Quincy
the
Davis,
most jazz name in history, Quincy
For sure.
Davis.
Yes, indeed. All those guys from the deep south have those style of names, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Man. Well, I guess that's a big part of the culture down there, and like Louisiana and stuff. Like, I would love to go see like where Satchmo used to play and stuff. You know, that'd be so
Beale Street, the House of Blues, man. Like that's like the road, the main street where blues was founded.
I don't know my way around Louisiana, but
I don't either. Yeah, Tennessee though I do. I used to go on trips with my family and stuff like that.
You're saying you used to tour the States a bunch too. Hey? What's that all about?
Well, I used to tour with a band called Evil Survives, who were on a New York record label called Heavy Artillery. We did probably 3 pretty big tours that landed in the States. The only destinations I haven't really been is like out east on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So other than that, the West I've conquered, the Central America I've conquered.
Are you talking like in Canada or in like the world?
No,
no. You're saying
North America.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't been to. We haven't been to Mexico or nothing like that. The closest I've been to Mexico is New Mexico, which is
that is pretty.
It was really close to the Mexican border.
It's like right on the border. Yeah, I've been to El
Hot
Paso.
As hell.
Yeah,
Hot.
Yeah. Jeez, I know a bunch of people in Mexico City, and I was talking to some of them recently, and I never realized that Mexico City was like one of those like huge
major metropolis. Yeah.
Like there's like 9 times as many people and as much area. It's like 9 times the physical size of Winnipeg and 9 times like the population density.
Oh, I know, it's roughly ridiculous.
Like, it's
and lots of crime.
Yeah, well,
depends
there's
where
just
you go,
so much stuff. Like, how can they restrict that? I mean, we got again 1/9 of that. Let's say we can barely control it. Never mind. Like,
imagine their concerts though.
Oh.
Like one of the biggest concerts of all time that's put together is Rock in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's like if you can play that, man, like that's the best exposure you could possibly get.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm such a big fan of like the Latin music and all that stuff, and really I really enjoy putting that into the prog music. We were talking about prog a bit. That's one of my favorite things to do with it now is put a Latin influence in it.
Yes.
Like, there's a bunch of APHelion stuff. Like there's one riff where Clay's doing this like diminished tapping pattern, and he's like the
tapping like segments.
All over the frets. And it's like this diminished harmony, and it's kind of like pretty metal sounding, you know. But then I'm coming in and I got this Latin bass line,
make it all funky.
So all of a sudden you're dancing to it instead of headbanging, you know. And it's
I love Latin
so
stuff too, and the Brazilians are great for that sort of stuff. Like that's like if you want Latin, go to Brazil or listen to Brazilian bands. I like quite a few.
There's this one Colombian band, if I can try and find it here. They're called Compasses. I always bring these guys up, and I think they're from Colombia. I'm gonna try and find it here so I can, and I'll share it up there.
I got some Brazilian prog bands and stuff too. I can name off the top of my head, I think.
These guys, like, I don't even know what you'd call them. They'd be like prog, but not metal prog, like straight up like salsa prog, you know, cool. Or something. And it's like, okay, so there's 4 dudes, and they're this first video here, and they, there's an electric bass player over at the end. He's got an electric bass and a little amp.
Okay.
And then there's like the next guy's got like a little guitar, and there's no leads. It's all strumming.
Okay,
You know, that crazy strumming.
That's awesome.
And then there's this big harp guy. The big harp is doing all the leads that you're going to hear, all the melodies.
Really?
That's the harp.
That is strange.
The leader of the band is this fucking dude in the front, the maracaist. I don't know what you call him. I didn't know you could do razor sharp rhythms like this with maracas until I saw this video. This video blew my face off. And hopefully YouTube doesn't like this, take this down or anything. But I'm also not only on YouTube, so. And
I'm curious to hear what this.
If there's a problem, then I can also just kind of block out the screen a little bit. Oh, volume is too quiet.
It's all good.
Wow, you got it here. I'm gonna.
Wow, this is actually pretty fast. I'm gonna
come around here. Yeah, no, this maraca guy is really, really intense. Really intense maraca player. What button? I can't even see these things here in the dark. Volume.
There you go.
The maraca is like the deadliest double kick breakdown you ever heard on a maraca.
That's really cool. I like that rhythm.
And like it's like mathy. Every like like that. Like, how do you
with maracas, it's an opposing thing. So like as soon as you kind of slightly pull back, it goes the other way.
Yeah.
So you have to like be extremely like tense.
Yeah.
I don't know how, not tense, but like I'm sure he's not
totally
tense
like you're saying though. It comes the other way. Like
yeah.
like to get that such a smart.
It's an opposing
to get the beats
thing.
to like smack on the flat side, you got to kind of like say throw them towards yourself and then like sharply come back this way.
Very
that
fast.
Makes them snap like
crazy motions, man.
Yeah.
Like that's talent for sure.
Oh,
I'm sure he spent a lot of time working on it. Yeah.
I should have brought my remote over here with the volume control.
Yeah, who needs a snare drum when you got somebody like that? Eh? You know, like that's like marching band snare stuff for rhythms.
Mm-hmm. And it's like dance moves too, but it's just like technically what you need to do.
It's killer.
To do it. So good.
I'd be entertained if I was there.
I'd be blown away.
Yep.
You know what's the funniest thing about this? I'm gonna jump to the end and show you. This must be like a battle of the bands or like a judge competition or something. I'm gonna skip about 5 minutes here, so there's a lot of goodness in that.
Wow.
But there's just like no applause here.
People are lame.
Yeah, this must be a competition like with judges or something because there's silence after 7.5 minutes of these guys just like.
Well, people are clearly filming it. I guess it must be some sort of.
And like this panel here.
Yeah, that's the judge table if that's anything.
Must be.
This is really neat though. Yeah. It's like a shaman trance almost, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like let's go do some ayahuasca in the desert, man.
Yeah.
And this you're just gonna start hearing this stuff on your own.
Yeah, some peyote, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know anything about ayahuasca, or if you know anything, but somebody told me one time that it was basically peyote. You know, I don't really know much about it. And
all I know is what peyote comes from is a cactus, right?
Right.
So
yeah. That's something we could look up, but we don't really need to go down that rabbit trail.
That was really cool, though. Yeah, I like that sort of stuff.
Awkward silence at the end. I was just
like,
what?
It's just like, okay, our filming is over with. That's a wrap.
Yeah, I was
unceremonious,
weird,
bowing down.
If you want to try and find something, you got whatever you can type even here.
Well, yeah, it's like depends what you
don't have to. I mean, if you got something in mind.
Yeah, I could throw something down. If you want to talk about Brazilian stuff, we can talk about Brazilian stuff.
I just started teaching at a music school, and there's a little Brazilian kid that I started. Well, started subbing.
Typing, that's a problem.
Oh, here. Okay, sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I'll get you in the right spot here. Okay, hit. Yeah. Okay, now you're gonna be typing in the bar. Great.
Okay. This one should be interesting.
Technology, folks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Angra Temple of Shadows. Is that what popped up?
Yes. Do you want the whole album?
I'm trying to think of what their Brazilian stuff. Some of their stuff is like prog heavy, and some of it's like Brazilian instruments, and like it's all over the place.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's pretty
Angra.
Good. Angra.
Do you know what that is? That like a word or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it stands for.
Temple of Hate's probably a metal one.
Temple of Hate's the metal one, yeah. But I mean, there's lots of cool little parts in there and stuff. It's not as Brazilian as some of the other ones, like.
Yeah.
Good shredding.
Oh yeah, no.
Actually, this guitar player went on to he got the Megadeth slot. So like he wrote a lot of this stuff.
Who is that?
Kiko Lorieno.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know all the different lineups of Megadeth.
Super crazy shredder, like really tight, better than Dave Mustaine.
Well, that's some would say not the craziest feat, but
no, it's not. It's definitely not.
You didn't know any ones that would be like a...
Holy Land is based off the very beginnings of Brazil, like when Brazil was first founded. Okay. So all the people coming together to basically unite Brazil and create like the structures that Brazil has. Like
and that's where the music came from?
Well, they wrote the lyrics based upon that. For
these
Holy
guys,
Land,
right.
Holy Land,
okay, yeah. I got Temple of Hate, Spread Your Fire, Temple of Shadows.
Go to Temple of Shadows, yeah. Go to Temple of Shadows.
Shadow Hunter.
I know one of them has like a serious Brazilian influence, like acoustics and different instruments native to Brazil.
Oh, I'm also just realizing that was probably way too long of that to play on YouTube.
Probably. This is
copyrighted up right up the yin yang, but we could do little clips.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah, sure.
Can't listen to like whole songs or anything, so hopefully I don't get flagged too bad. But we'll see, and that's how I'm gonna figure out how to do that.
How to do it? Yeah.
Apparently, the YouTube copyrights are like they're real vague, trying to find like what the exact rules are, because there is no real exact rules, because the copyright thing is all kind of
wishy-washy.
Yeah, it's a little wishy-washy. Like it's wishy-washy right up until you like actually get an actual copyright, but that whole process is kind of like
the quality in a lot of these songs is very wishy-washy as well, right? Like you're not getting straight 320 kilobytes per second on each.
Well, when did this come out?
2004.
Oh yeah, so the technology's definitely gone up a bit since then. Recording tech, anyways.
Yeah.
And even like, of course, there's tons of new tech, but as far as new techniques go too, like the producers are getting infinitely more skilled at
absolutely.
Like, getting these ridiculous sounds and everything.
Production is a whole other segment of conversation there. 70s and 80s, you had the analog equipment you were using going to the digital in the 90s. Huge.
That's the stuff.
That's you know, the analog stuff you were capable of making more warm tones. Digital, in today's digital age anyways, it seems to suck some of the life out of it, because everyone wants balls to the wall for metal and stuff like that, right?
I read a good article one time that was saying for like the extreme metal is that like extreme metal is like a technically uber demanding genre, right?
It is super demanding.
Like it's easily as demanding as like hard bop or like that speedy jazz would be, you know?
You can't do that stuff forever. Like you can't tell me you're going to be doing that in your 50s, like late 50s.
No, you're going to get bored of it.
Yeah, I know.
Or you're going to get contracted into it, and then you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Play some songs that you enjoy with people you enjoy being with.
I totally forgot what I was going to say there. There's that thing. I do that a lot though, so it's okay.
Oh, it's all right. I'm just here and there as well too, right? Like all of a sudden I have this thought, it's like, boop, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, except now I'll go back and watch it, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I was trying to say there.
Yeah, I know. It'll come back to you later. Yeah. Even if it does, just shout it out loud.
Well, we were just saying, it was something about a medical, about producing in the extreme metal. That's what it was.
Yes.
I read this article. They're saying because like the chops are so high from the musicians in extreme metal that demands like the producers to kind of to equal to be at least on par, like technically speaking, at how good you are at your skill. You got to be like really damn good. You got to be able to get crazy crystal clear tones, like
that's why people are using like slate and stuff like that. Just using samples. Like I don't want to have to do that if I don't have to.
No, of course you want to get some good recordings.
I want to get some drummer. I want to get some good tones. Obviously, if I have a botched session and I have no other choice, then I'll have to use something. But it's never really gotten to that point for me where I've needed it. Yeah.
I just I don't know if you've seen any of the posts I've been making. I got in on a beta trial on this thing called 1 Million Loops, I guess, which is like a custom looper where
that's cool.
There's like artists that are on there. Like I'm going to be uploading artists. I'm not on the first draft, but it's still in beta. And all the loops on there were made by somebody at home, like under this 4-bar criteria or whatever it is.
Cool, yeah.
And then they upload it there, and then it tells you that there's 4 things that you can choose, and there's a whole bunch of different ones, and you can mix and match under these criteria. There's what is it? It's your instrument, your genre, your key, and your time signature.
That's cool. So it banks it in the system, basically.
Yeah, well, in their own online system.
That's really cool.
Here, I'll
that sounds
show
like
you
Slate for drums.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. It really does. It's basically a sample library, but for not
and
that.
And then it's linked back to the profile of the artist who put up that individual thing.
Really
Next to each loop, it shows you who did it. And then you can click on their profile, and it'll bring you to their profile, which has it linked to all of their social media and everything. So, and then it also has the download option. You can download any of the loops that you like on there. Right now they're all free, but I think eventually they're going to have the you can pay to download them, or artists can have you have to pay to download your loop.
Yeah,
which would be great. That's such
because
a good idea.
You would be making money and they would be profiting too.
Yeah, and then now you have it. Like I just used one of the free ones for my intro for my podcast teaser that I released today. I call it a teaser. It's more of a first episode. It's 30 minutes long, so it's not really a teaser.
It's a full, pretty much a full episode.
But 10 minutes from my first 3 episodes.
Okay,
right? So it's only 10 minutes of each, whereas each one of them is at least over an hour.
Yeah.
But I just threw together this little jingle, but I needed some drums. That's been an issue I've been having with trying to record lately is I don't have any way of like getting good drums and stuff, So
you can come up with your own beats in like a program called Fruity Loops. Have you ever used that?
Oh yeah, no, I was
old,
introduced to Fruity Loops when I was like 14, because my cousin was a DJ.
And some guys use Rock Band, but I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind even like Garage Band, but ultimately I just need one of those like really good just composition softwares with a MIDI controller, and that'll give me any instrument that I want, and give me the whole layers of horn sections. I remember I had like some deadly arrangements put out on Guitar Pro. I had this one.
Guitar Pro's easy to write with.
This one 15-16 funk section. It was just this weird slap riff that sounded really smooth, but it was actually in 15-16, and like you don't even notice. And then there was this really cool melody, and I put it on like. There was 4 parts. It was 2 saxophones, I think, in the middle range. So like an alto and a tenor saxophone, and then a recorder and steel drums. We're all doing the melody.
Wow.
This fucking.
I love how crazy you can go with that program.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, like.
And with the hotkeys, you just zip it away.
That's awesome.
So fast.
Yeah, I need to get more into that program. Actually, it's probably just as beneficial to me as it is to a guitar player.
Oh, totally. Drumming is nuts. Yeah.
Well, I know.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time personally writing drums on there. That's something I don't have to worry about the copyright. I can show you some stuff that I've written on there.
Sure, yeah.
Old stuff that's like not going to get used by the bands that now I'm just going to
use for your personal
remake it and do it in a solo project and like not worry about collaborating with people. You know, because it's like it's one or the other. I mean, that's where the fights come in is when people are disagreeing on the method. I think
it's like, well, no, this is kind of the way it is, right? Yeah, I know.
But then the other guy's saying, no, this is the way it is. It's like, see, there's 2 ways of. There's more than this, of course, but 2 of the most common and effective ways to run a band is one, you have a band leader who makes the shots and the calls and the decisions, and everybody is.
And if you're okay with that too, right?
And he pays the guys, and it's a working where everybody's happy with that. That's probably the most efficient thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of musicians don't want to take the back seat.
Ego attached to that, right?
Totally, right. And then when you're in a creative, original band, like I know personally, and we all know, like when you're writing your own music, it feels
it's that closer to home, right?
Yeah.
It feels closer to home, right?
Yeah. So I find that the disagreements come when you kind of aren't clear on whether you're all collaborating or whether there's a leader. Because then you get these 3 guys who think you're collaborating and this guy who thinks he's in charge. You know
how many times this happened to me, man? Like in at least 3 bands that I've been in. Yeah, it's such a common thread.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really like. I think communication is key, but if someone doesn't even himself understand that as a leader or trying to be a leader, anyways. He comes off as the dictator at all points, right? Like
it's
a fine line you're walking when you're the leader because you're trying to guide people to what your vision is, but is everyone else going to be wanting to do what you want, right? At all times too, right?
Yeah. Well, for that, it's like, are you paying them?
Yeah, I know.
If you're paying them, then who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. No, I know, and they probably have a mutual understanding as well, right?
Yeah. Most people to get paid would be totally.
Oh yeah, of course. If I know I'm going into a session and it's like you're being told every single beat, then yeah, sure, whatever. At least I know what I'm getting into.
You're gonna make
before
$2,000 for 3 days of work, though.
Yeah,
something like that.
Or even
I mean, that's a
$500
big gig,
bucks.
but
Give me $500 and some skins. There you go. You know what I mean? Like.
Yep. Just got to start going to the jams. I've done that a lot. Ronnie was talking to me about that when he came on the podcast.
Ronnie Ladderbrook, or
yeah, he was my episode 2, and he was asking about the jams. I'd gone to another one with Jeff, my drummer from Dizzy Mystics. Actually, just up the street from here on like Mountain. There's a new Sunday jam happening,
That's
and
cool.
It's like a 20-minute walk for me, so I got no excuse on that one.
Yeah.
And there's basses
different people
there.
show up all the time.
Yeah, with the house band, and the house bass player had this ding wall last time, so I didn't jump up, but I was just watching them and like studying and stuff, because you learn so much just from like watching dudes play,
different people, different styles, the way people approach different instruments, right?
Yeah, see 10 different people do the same song 10 different ways.
Yep.
That's a cool thing.
They have their own little thing to them. Like for me, I've replaced 3 different members before. Like I'm coming into VOTOV, I've never You know, I'm not Matt. I'm not the same.
Are you still in VOTOV?
Yeah, well, I joined them a couple months ago.
Right.
Yeah, so it's.
So that's a new thing.
That's a new thing for me.
Right.
Chuck was asking me to be part of the band. I wasn't, I wasn't doing anything with EYAM. We were kind of laying low after Christmas, and basically he's like, "Man, I got shows lined up. I want you to start learning the songs." So I started learning all the songs, and I learned the album in probably a couple weeks. I took my time with it, dissected the parts. You know, it's nothing. There's certain things that I do differently, but I think everyone does.
Oh yeah,
certain little nuances are a little bit different, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wait till you hear the Dizzy Mystics album when it's released. The drums are a little different.
Didn't Aaron Edgar?
Yeah, because Aaron Edgar did the whole drum recording, right? So like, good luck trying to do any of that.
I know.
To anybody.
I know.
And then even if you got the chops, which Jeff does good on.
He does.
You know,
for sure.
he definitely covers his
ground.
And
he does.
And he really like stepped up to the plate with these unrealistic
I'm sure
parts,
he knew that he had to.
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely. Especially in his other band is like a 50s roots band, you know. So
that's a big change for him.
And because you see him in that, and they just got such a good pocket, and yeah, they got this attitude.
So was Jeff in the band? No, he wouldn't have been in the band when Aaron tracked. Right?
No, none of us were.
So it's just basically Aaron and. Was there only 2 members at that point doing the album?
Just one. Aaron just got contracted.
I see. Okay, I wasn't sure. I had no idea.
Kyle actually did everything himself.
Crazy.
I don't know how many people actually know that, and
probably nobody.
We try not to like scream it from the clouds for Kyle's sake, you know.
Because I'm sure he wants it to be a full band effort.
Yeah, exactly. But it just the fact that we had this full setup to this full album, this magnificent album too. It's really good.
I know, I like it. I've heard a couple songs.
Yeah, and like there's this one song, the last track on the album, the title track, Wanderlost, is a doozy. Like it, in my opinion, outdoes all the other songs combined, which says a lot. You know,
I haven't heard that one. I'm gonna have to hear that.
No,
one.
we haven't played it live because it's so messed up.
Yeah.
But we're planning to debut it. That's all I can say about that.
Is it a long one, like an epic?
It is. It's like 11 minutes long.
Wow, that's a long one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really magnificent. I don't want to give too much away about that song.
No, I understand.
We're gonna make sure you come to the CD release if you want to see.
When is the CD release?
Well, we don't have a date yet.
Okay, yeah.
Soon,
when it happens,
in the summer. We got it. We just trying to make sure all our steps are in order. That's something I can ask you about. Is because we're really being like really super careful with our CD release, and like there's the one hand where we just want to get it out. Kyle's been sitting on it for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure he has, because I remember when he released Letter, I guess.
Yeah. That was about a year after we had been playing as a band, rehearsing in the basement, like without advertising.
This album's been going on and then not really released for a couple of years. Then
Kyle's had it a few years by himself before he met us. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exact dates or timelines or anything.
So when he decided to assemble the lineup, that was mainly due to the fact that he wanted to play live shows, or he wanted to have a working relationship as well with everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like his initial goal was to have a band.
Yeah.
But to write all the music first and then get people to play that is it just skips so many steps and so many hassles, and like there's a lot of bands that like APHelion. We didn't do that. We got together first and then wrote songs together.
Yeah.
Like as friends and coworkers and stuff. And 8 years and we're just releasing our EP. Whereas Kyle, we've been playing shows for a year and our CD release is coming out.
Yeah, I know. It seems like your leaps and bounds kind of.
But I mean, like I was saying, like APHelion is just for fun, really. Like we're just kind of a goofy thing, and we do. It's not like we slack or anything, because it's self-expression and artistic integrity and all that, so you have to actually like put in a real effort.
A real effort. Yeah. Any band that you're in needs a real effort, otherwise you're going to get kiboshed, right?
Well, exactly, and that can be some of the most frustrating things is especially with musicians is a bit of a lack of a work ethic.
Yeah.
I like to think.
It's like you don't want to be that one guy that's not pulling their weight.
Yeah, but
it can happen, though.
I mean, that's another one of those communication things.
It is.
For example, APHelion, never really had the intention of trying to really go too much big. Like, we just wanted to
play some shows, have some fun.
Be a presence locally and, influence some people and, have some good times, have some fun.
Yeah.
And play and just do what we love,
Mm-hmm.
Dizzy Mystics, from the beginning, our first practice, we were like, hey, this is our job now. okay, you have like a day job. That's just whatever you need to do to pay your bills. This band is your job.
Yeah.
And we're all like that. It's really refreshing to be in a band where
that's taken seriously.
Yeah, and all 4 of us are willing to do like however much work is necessary.
That's good.
You know, like we need to do this. Okay, what do we need to do to accomplish that?
Joining VOTOV got me back in that sort of element where it's like, okay, now they're a little bit more serious than what I'm in right now. So
Chuck's a professional.
And John Duke puts
John Duke's great too.
He puts a lot of the shows that they have on.
Okay.
And they've played lots of local shows, you know, and they want to play, you know, Calgary, Edmonton. They want to go out west for a little bit.
So they did a little tour before, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they've done a few.
Yeah, right.
Nothing crazy, but they've done a few tours.
Cool.
But it's just one of those things where you have to be serious about what you do. You have to have certain contacts. You got to garner all these contacts along the way.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, really, how much exposure are you thinking you're going to get? Hopefully, like, you can do well without too much radio action and stuff. Like Iron Maiden, for instance, barely had any radio play early on.
Yeah, that was in the day of
They toured their asses off, though. But I mean, that's a lot of work, and it's a lot of sacrifice for your life and everybody else who's involved. So yeah, no, it's great to be with people who actually want to have some similar goals.
Yeah. No, it's really great.
It's tough to find.
It is tough to find.
It's tough to find.
You gotta like establish that from the beginning too. I mean, like some people don't want to take it too far. They just want to kind of fuck around and just have some fun.
But you're right, communication, man. Like I like to know when I'm getting into something. Okay, what is the game plan here?
Yeah.
Please let me know and be transparent with me, because if you're not, then it's not gonna. We're gonna get frustrated. Yeah, everyone is gonna implode.
Yeah.
And it's happened with a couple of my other bands, to be honest. And it's like, man, we're like a big family, so please just get it all off your chest. Make sure everything is crystal clear.
Yeah.
And don't waste anyone's time. Yeah. Like, time is valuable. Time, you know what I mean? Like, that's all we have in this life is time. Yeah. So use it wisely, man. Like, money, fuck, whatever. Money is money. But time, that's even more valuable to me.
Totally. Because, I mean, like, to me, it's like, you know, a little metaphysical here, but the passage of time is kind of illusionary, right?
It is.
Like everything that you remember from your past, you're remembering right now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not in the past, it's in you right now.
It's still in you. It's still, and all the experiences that you've had in this life are still in you. It's just you got to pull them out every so often.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same with when you're like thinking and planning for the future and making plans and stuff, you know. You're almost like projecting who you want to become, and you're like placing that ahead of you where you are now, and then just kind of reversing it and being like, what do I got to do to get there?
If I knew what I knew now when I did when I was 18, like,
I think
everybody
you're not the only one that relates with that one for sure.
No, I know. And you know, I'm in my mid-30s now, so I understand a lot more about what I want in life. And you know, sometimes I'm a little more serious than I should be. I'm a joker too, but I like being, you know.
I'm quite often the serious guy.
Yeah. Me too. And I think drummers kind of get that sort of rep as like, oh, look at Mr. Serious over there, you know. Yeah. But Dan's the opposite. You got the anomaly
Dan's
there.
Goofy,
He's a goofball. I love it.
And like he does everything intense, like just,
he's to the nines, man.
And even like his calmness, because he can get calm, but then he gets real calm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When he's chilling with the kiddies.
Yeah, man. Like, no, don't worry. It's all good. We don't get nothing to worry about. You know. Like,
there's no one like Dan that I've ever met, pretty much.
No, he's pretty unique. He's a person I'm definitely glad that I met.
Yeah. No, he's one of the most interesting guys I've ever met. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And great drummer, like.
Oh,
his chops are ridiculous, man.
Well,
his hands, like, ridiculous.
His kick pedals. The first time I ever tried his kick pedals, they were the lightest touch I've ever seen. Like, there's no like flopping momentum. It's like you touch it and it's like, pop. Like he's just all complete like leg control.
He is a leg control guy.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with how you set your springs.
Yeah, totally. And like,
it does, yeah.
And your technique, like he always says, if you were to adjust that, he would have to relearn his kick drumming, you know.
for me too. Like I'm a pretty heavy hitter in the kick drum.
Yeah.
So
which is good. I like it. I like a good solid fucking kick drum. And
I don't want to have to use triggers, but for certain things I do, like VOTOV I do. Just based upon the fact you want to be able to punch through a mix.
Yeah.
And if no one can hear the bass drum when it's chugging death metal, and then you got a problem. So not every live venue is gonna be able to pump your bass drum as much as you want. So I bring my own rig with me when I'm going. So it's the only thing I really worry about. Everything else is going to be heard. The kick drum is the one thing that can be hidden. That's one thing that I noticed.
Yeah, I guess, and it's totally kind of all about the tone, you know, because if you have that kind of like not too punchy and really bassy, it'll just really get lost in there a little bit. But depending on the style you want, if you're having a lot of really fast like double kicking and metal, and stuff,
you want it to be punchy and to be heard. And you know, I'm gonna create my own sample library. That's one of the things that is on my to-do list. I have my own, like I have 11 tracks with 11 mics.
1 million loops. So that's how I'm gonna do that one.
Oh man, well. Let's put it this way. I need fresh skins. I need, you know, like I'm going to make sure everything's in tune and just create my own samples. That way my drums, if they ever need to be replaced on a recording, because I do my own recordings, I can just pull a sample, the heavy hit, boom, throw it in there. Yeah. Just say, oh shit, that was a bum note. Well, I don't really have to redo the take. Throw it in there.
Yeah, no, totally. And we do that sometimes. Like it's
not often. I don't like doing it.
No, yeah.
I'd rather perfect the part.
Like with the APHelion stuff, we did three takes pretty much as each song, and each one it was like maybe there was one little hiccup here, like in each take, you know, because it's kind of hard to get like a perfect take.
It really is. It really is.
But then you can actually just kind of sub out that one note on the recording and. It's not too shameful.
No, it's not. No, like if it's just something small, if you're constantly doing punch-ins every 10 seconds, then you lose the feel.
You're going in your rock band and you play one verse and put it down and go like, can't you just copy and paste the verse over for the rest of the song? Like, no, get the fuck out of here.
I know, please leave. Or perfect your parts, man. If you're going in a studio spending big money on anything, make sure you know what you're doing.
Because when you don't have your parts down, you're wasting time. And when you're wasting time, you're wasting money.
Yeah, especially if you're a studio guy and you're trying to do a session, and all of a sudden they notice, it's like, oh man, this guy doesn't even know what he's supposed to be doing, and he's getting paid to do it, right?
Good luck getting that next gig.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And that one's going to cost you way more because now you don't have, like, if you come in, you bust your track down, you lay 2 perfect tracks down, takes you 10, 15 minutes. Or like you just keep getting stuck, and now you have to do like take 13, take 14.
Yeah,
that would just be. I don't think anybody would hang around until take 13.
No, they wouldn't. They try and find somebody else who can do the session. Someone who can do play with click track.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing. I really have spent a lot of time finding alternatives to metronomes, like Guitar Pro is a really big one for me because it's all on a click already, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then with this 1 million loops thing too, that's another thing that I've been using just to practice like my scales and stuff along too.
Okay.
And just exercises because it's on a click, you know. But it's also musical, you know. I always try and combine more than one thing. Like I'll try and get a technique practice in, a theory practice in, and then like something else too that's subtle, like practice also. Dynamics, play it quiet and then play it softly, or
you do it very much the way I do it in drum ways. But
well, hopefully it's
I read sheet music, so I read so I have books. I read off books. That's a lot of the way you gain your own technique too, is because you have a different interpretation. But obviously you're set within parameters of playing the notes. So you know, like I'll have a groove set out, couple bars, and then I'll try and repeat that and make it as clean as you can. And then once you have it all clean, ready to go, then you can add your own little embellishments here and there and make it your own, right? That's what I like doing a lot. It makes you creative. And it's not really like stressful at all because you have the ground rules set there for you.
Yeah. I really love lead sheets. For that reason, I have my faith book here. If I'm not pulling on that. Yeah, here.
Is this for me or?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't be having any more than that. So.
Yeah, sure. I understand. Do you like kombucha? Kombucha that I've been making you to try some.
I can try it. Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're into that kind of thing.
I don't know. What is it?
It's a fermented sweet tea.
Oh, that sounds good.
So it's like good for your guttural, intestinal flora and bacteria and stuff, but it's a little acidic sometimes.
Oh.
Right now it's banana mango flavor.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you have the first brewing process, which like has this SCOBY, which is like apparently an acronym. What is it? It's a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
Oh, bacteria and yeast.
So it's supposed to be good for your digestive tract.
Yeah, it's all the bacteria and helps your pH level or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and then it's very healthy, but again, it's a little acidic. But it's like a great substitute for pop and stuff. And then so the first process, you do that in the SCOBY. You take a really strong sweet tea. So I say I got about 2 gallons of water. Throw in 12 tea bags, boil it up, and like a cup and a half of sugar, and I boil it all up, and then I cool it off, and then put it in the SCOBY, and over a couple days, the SCOBY eats, which is just a bacteria
concentrate.
culture.
That's really concentrate.
It eats the sugar and creates carbonation, so then it's carbonated. So then you take that one, and now you got your second fermenting process, which is the bottling and the flavoring process, and you put it in the bottle with your flavoring, which a lot of people suggest you use a fruit puree because it takes the natural sugars.
And
then they're already broken up. So then the yeast in that continues to eat it in the bottom more, and then it gets super carbonated.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw, if you're on Instagram or if I saw.
I am on Instagram. Yeah.
I shared a thing I took it off because I only want my Instagram to be music stuff, and this wasn't really music.
It wasn't music oriented.
I had to share it though because it was so ridiculous. It made me laugh, and I was by myself. That's how you know when something's really funny, when you laugh and you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
But I just forgot that it was carbonated, and I popped the bottle on a new one, and it just like
exploded
all over
almost,
my hand and like all over the cupboards and the roof
and
the oven. And
I would have forgot to. That would have been me.
I just washed the dishes, and now the clean dishes are like covered in fruit puree.
Oh my god, sticky as hell.
Yeah, and I just couldn't do anything but laugh and clean it up.
Man, I'm a fool.
Yeah, it was pretty great. But the company's not bad.
Did you write these?
No, that's a fake book.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
This is there's a whole bunch of these. This one's called The Real Book, but it's a fake book because it's ironic.
Wow.
But yeah, a lot of those ones are really good, and they're just lead sheets, right?
Yeah.
Just the basic bones. And I was along McQuaid today, and I saw that they have like blues fake books and rock fake books, which I didn't realize. I thought because a fake book is a jazz thing, because the dudes used to like have like a notebook and just write
everything down, and it's like their black book.
Yeah, because Charlie Parker over here is never going to speak to you again if you don't.
I know if you don't have that, you'll forget about that, and you won't play it correctly, I should say. That's awesome.
This book's funny because some songs, like you just open to a random page, sometimes you have this song on the right that's like kindergarten, and the song on the left that's like
Alice in Wonderland, like, for example.
Quantum metaphysics, you know?
Yeah, like see Alice in Wonderland, super straightforward. Then you get into something.
Oh, that was a good one you got right here. Look at all that crap.
Know. Yep. Fuck this right here.
My sight reading isn't good. I can sight read. I can follow the chords better. I can learn a piece of music from it, but like sight reading, like it takes me a while, you know.
So drum sheet music, when you're looking at the bars, right bass drum right here on this line, right underneath is the left foot. So if you're playing double bass, you'll see the left foot on the bottom. Snare is the next one. Hi-hats are always with an X. So anything you see with an X, it's all hi-hats.
Yeah. Now, is that for like all cymbals? Because there's also like the little upper bracket. You could
use it. Yeah. You could use it for. Yeah, it's mainly for cymbals. Like that's mainly what the X is for. Toms are up right below where the cymbals are.
And that's on a staff still too, right?
Yeah,
it's not like a tablature or anything.
No.
Yeah. It's actual music.
It's actual music. Yeah, just like you're looking at here, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, drum sheet music is different though. Like I'm not obviously looking at the notations like E, D, A.
Yeah, that's really the tricky part. I find a lot of people struggle with the rhythm when they're learning, but I because Guitar Pro, I think, and just doing like all the mathy stuff and like spending so much time analyzing time signatures.
Yeah.
Like that 15/16 one.
That would have. That's a mind bender, I'm sure.
If I can, I don't know if I still have it on here. I called it a Funka 15. Isn't that a great name for it?
I like it.
Super funky, like it was like almost like fusion funk. Yeah, and steel drums, and then it had like this jazzy like solo section.
You're a finger picker mainly, right?
Yeah, I'm a slap bass player mainly.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say slap is another one.
Don't tell people, but no.
No, I know you are.
That's kind of a polarized one in the bass world. Is like
that's where your
like
attack
slap
is.
Or you don't.
I love it. Mm-hmm. That's where your attack is, though, if you want to get some serious attack.
And not use a pick. That's why I started doing it, because in metal, because I can just get wild aggression.
Real wicked tone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's always worried about their tone, but like, your tone comes from your hands.
Big time.
80% of your tone is in your hands. Like,
yeah.
There's this story that Scott Devine says on his YouTube, Scott's Bass Lessons, biggest online bass academy in the world, and he's the godfather of online bass lessons.
Really, huh?
Yeah, and right next to him is Adam Neely, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know of Adam Neely?
I definitely have.
He's so funny. Yeah. I saw a good meme of him today, and it was a dude and a butterfly, right? And next to the dude, it says, "This is Adam Neely." And the butterfly says, "Literally anything." And at the bottom it says, "Is this a polyrhythm?"
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I don't know. Did you see that one where he's talking about the polyrhythms?
I don't think I saw it.
Saying polyrhythms are chords, basically. Polyrhythms is polytone because if you take, and he actually did it. He took the video. You look it up on YouTube. It's just look up Adam Neely polyrhythms, and he's given this thing, and he plays like a 5/6 over, no, it's like a 3/4/5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like a really consonant polyrhythm. Like it's like or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like a cadence, you know.
Yeah.
And then so the concept is that like, and he's just doing this with kick drum notes, just straight up, all on the same note. So it just sounds like a fucking mess, you know?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
You can't hear the different notes or anything. Like if you played them all on different notes or different timbres or instruments, you'd hear the individual, but you don't. You just hear the composite rhythm.
Interesting.
And then he speeds it up, and the point here is that this 6 rhythm, when you speed it up, is an A. And this 5 rhythm, when you speed it up, is a C. Okay. And this 3 rhythm, when you speed it up, is a G.
So different notes.
Yeah, when you take the tempo and you speed it up dramatically until it makes the actual frequency.
Okay.
You know, of the A440. And then he does that, and he takes this 3 or 4 or 5 and speeds it up, and it's a brrrr, and it goes up, and then it's major chord, and it just sounds like a big C major chord.
That's awesome.
And it's super cool. And then he
symphonies do that, for instance.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and he goes into like, this was just a little bit of his talk about how everything is a polyrhythm, right? Well, when you think about that, this tablecloth is made out of atoms which are vibrating at a certain frequency, so that can be like extrapolated into a musical note. Yeah. And it's also, they do it with colors, like orange is C and stuff like that, and A is blue or whatever. And so you can start to combine all of these things and create like really, really, really immersive.
That's why he's a front runner then, because he's got all these different sort of
New Horizons in music, I think, is his niche.
Nice.
Yeah, he went to Berkeley. And
Victor Wooten, I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh yeah, I took a deadly 2-hour lesson from not Victor Wooten, but Evan Brewer, who learned from the same guy as Victor Wooten, being Reg Wooten, who's really the man.
Yeah. Is that his father, Reg?
Oldest brother.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's like 5 brothers in that family, and they're like 8 years apart from youngest to oldest.
Wow. Yeah. Big age gaps.
Yeah. Well, no, small. For 5, all 5 of them within 8 years.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought you meant 8 each.
No, not between each, but all 5
within 8
years.
Wow, that is, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's lots of musical background.
Yeah, exactly. And they were all, like, the oldest one was a musician, and then Reggie, and he just taught all the other guys. So you got, like, I don't know which one of them is called Future Man, and he plays like these weird drum things, like it's like a guitar drum and like all.
I only know of Victor.
Yeah, these weird inventions that he made. Yeah. And Victor Wooten was the youngest one and the last one to join the family band. And didn't have a bass player. And there's one interview I saw of him telling a story where like he was like 2 years old or like 1.5 or something when he started playing. You know.
Wow.
And he was like, his family was all sitting in a circle on the front lawn, jamming, like they all had their respective instruments, and then there was an empty chair there with a little toy bass guitar on it.
And he picked it up.
Yeah, and he was like, and I just knew that was for me, you know?
Wow.
And he went there and just picked it up and started jamming.
To start that young,
and like without any teaching or anything.
Guidance,
Yeah. But then, so that's Victor Wooten now, he's like, anybody could have been better than me in that situation. Like, that situation, like, of course you're going to get as crazy as I am, you know? The real good story is Reggie Wooten, the oldest brother, who learned on his own while teaching all of us, while like going to school and doing all this, and you know.
Hence his legendary status as well,
exactly.
too, right?
Yeah.
For me, like I didn't have any family members start to teach me instruments or nothing, so it's like basically starting from the ground up. And I didn't start till 18 or so because I was playing ice hockey for good 10 years, ever since I was 8 years old, basically. Wow. I sold my hockey pads, my chest protector, my mask, and I got my first set of drums and double bass pedal.
So you like traded it? You actually stopped
I kind of
playing hockey?
Well, I got more into music, and I wanted to play an instrument. At first I played guitar, and I started with guitar, and probably that was like 16 years old.
Right.
And by 18 I wanted to be a drummer, and started really slow. I didn't really know like independence or anything like that. Independence was something that came,
takes a long time.
It takes a long time. And like keeping the left foot on your hi-hat, keeping time while you're doing like different patterns with your hands.
That's a tricky one. I still see lots of guys. I always love it when I see a drummer like get to that point where he starts like keeping time, being able to do whatever else while the hi-hat's clicking.
That's a certain skill set. Not a lot of drummers in this city have that skill set.
There's some Dan's really good at doing that. And then also like making it in context, like in music, like putting it on the upbeat.
Yeah.
In a funk section.
So tough.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that's you have to train yourself. That's a different skill set too. Like so many different techniques in music, and I don't know very much about like playing funk. Like I'd love to play funk. I'm good at grooving. I'm good at grooving, but I'm not like super into funk where I'm listening to it all the time. So the influences aren't flowing with me. You know what I mean?
I had a hard right turn towards funk a couple years ago.
I do like funk. So.
I was always into metal, and I was like really into the Chili Peppers and stuff, but it's like fundamental. Like as a bass player, I find every bass player has to have like a funk phase. Like it's so important.
It really
for
is.
a bass player to got the funk.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. You're kind of soulless if you don't have some sort of like blues, funk. Like some groove. You need groove. Yeah. Otherwise, you sound just like a blur, a mess.
Yeah, and it's like there's no like the bass is like the canoe, like
it carries the song.
Yeah, it's like it's not like a yacht or like a cruise ship. It's like a little fucking rickety rowboat.
Yeah.
That like
totally.
You gotta play your notes like so that you're grooving on, so that it's flowing over the waves graciously, and you're not like going against the current capsizing your shit. Like,
exactly.
Which is if you don't have a groove, your little boat's gonna turn over,
Yeah, capsize on itself.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and half my family lives in the States, in the southern states. So when I was a kid, I'd always used to go see blues bands and jazz bands on Beale Street. That's where B.B. King got his name, basically, right? So I got a lot of my interest in blues, jazz, fusion from down south. Because all the players are playing on the streets, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the raw talent is right there, like, and they'll play for nothing. They'll play for nothing. They'll just play for beer. You know what I mean? Like,
it's New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Like, it's not where you're getting paid a whole bunch of money. These guys are just living on the streets. Half these guys, but their talent is just raw and it's there.
Well, being a musician is actually one of the probably easier ways to live on the street is to like busking. Just like have a guitar with you all the time, and if it's unfortunate enough that you're in that situation,
it is.
Hopefully you got like a guitar or something.
I
know.
Like
what's the dude in Osborne, Dan? Every time we see him, like he's buddies with him and he's always singing. He's got that song about a bottle of wine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bottle of wine.
Is he still there? Or?
I still see him kicking around every time I go to Osborne. Like he's just there. Like that's his job.
That's back in the zoo days, probably when I saw him the most.
Oh, I miss the zoo.
That's probably why I don't go to Osborne very much anymore.
Because of the zoo.
Yeah, the zoo not being there. Obviously, the Park Theater is a good venue. And
you know who's doing a good thing in Osborne for the Winnipeg music scene is the Village Idiots, and like Riley Saunders and Kyle.
They're doing those like Clint is doing stuff with them too, right? He's doing.
But there's that other one, the Jam Shack. I think
that's what I'm talking about.
That's the heavier full volume one because. Live the Roslyn is more popular, I think, right now, or maybe not more popular, but like more well-known.
I think it is more well-known.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while, but
I've heard about it a lot more.
It's at the Roslyn, and they have to keep the volume down, I think, so they just I think this year they're closing off with Moontan, so
that'll be a little bit louder.
Season 2, I think they have one closing full volume act.
That's really cool.
Moontan.
I like Moontan.
Yeah.
How could you not like Moontan?
I actually haven't seen them yet.
They're really good.
Don't tell anybody. Okay. I hear good things.
They're a really good band live, man.
Yeah, they seem like they put on a hell of a live show.
One of the best three-piece acts.
Yeah.
Like,
I met the guys like out of context just recently with Jeff or last summer at the Jazz Fest, which is so great.
Yeah, they're interesting dudes. I've only met Nick. the drummer? Like.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the bass player. I think I meant the guitar player in passing.
Bass player is also the vocalist. Yeah. Crazy, like he tries to be Geddy Lee. You can tell.
Yeah. His voice and the playing. I actually haven't heard them, but yeah, here it sounds a lot like Rush.
I think they recorded their EP at Private Ear.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool studio.
Oh yeah,
I've recorded 3 albums there.
Yeah. You recorded 3 albums at Private Ear?
3. Evil Survives, always recorded at Private Ear.
That's the one project of yours I'm not really super familiar with, to be honest.
Well, I joined them in 2008, and we went till 2012. So we did a full 4 solid years, but we were very active. We did a whole bunch of shows in the city. I think we probably did, I'm only guesstimating, but probably 40 shows in the city. We played the Albert a lot. Probably half of our shows were at the Albert. We played lots of like bigger shows too. We played with Nuclear Assault. We did Mount of a Metal Fest pretty much every year of our existence.
Love Metal Fest. It was so good this year.
We had good slots too. And we played with Razor, like right before Razor. We played right before, whole bunch of different bands.
Yeah, I think that was like right before I came on the metal scene. Me and Clay used to just go to the zoo. I think because I would have turned 18 in 2008.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think I was quite. I probably started going to metal shows like around 2012.
Yeah. Okay. So that was like the end of our era.
Yeah, we were going to the zoo on Friday. We didn't really know anybody, but we were like playing together, and we knew the dudes from 2MSU.
Oh yeah,
There's the technology before them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, those dudes are homies. That's some fam right there.
Yeah.
They grew up in there. They still live in the area that I grew up in. So
I think Forsyth produced one of theirs.
Yeah, and he's he lives right around that area too. He's kind of just a little past Garden Grove there.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yes. Right off Route 90.
Yeah. I grew up in Tyndall Park, so that's all my old stomping grounds. It was weird, like, I go back there and see people that were, like, friends with my older brother when I was a kid and stuff. I haven't seen them in 15 years.
And they're still there.
Like, oh, yeah, you're still around, hey?
Wow.
Yeah, it's trippy.
I'm not leaving St. James.
Yeah,
It's the bubble. You're in it. Get used to it.
Yeah, that's just Winnipeg.
No, I like St. James, though, like specific areas, but I like St. James because it's quiet. You can kind of do your own thing, and no one's really gonna get involved in what you're doing. Like,
it's not too bad.
I can jam till fucking 2 in the morning if I want to. But then again, I'm segregated though, right?
Right.
I'm living in a house in a bungalow, and my neighbor is several feet away from me at least.
Yeah, well that's good.
Yeah, and I live, it's my house, so it's
It's not an apartment or anything. So yeah, most houses are pretty good.
Are pretty good, yeah. You can go around the clock if you want to.
Especially like most drummers have learned how to make their drumming not like as tolerable for the people around them as it can, because drumming is so fucking loud.
A solid maple door at the top of the stairs, going into the kitchen, and all the joists, like all these joists that I have on top, are all insulated. So I made sure I stuffed the shit out of the insulation, so no one upstairs. You're not hearing it as much, right?
Not like here, but
no, but I know, but
No, I'm just saying this place has like the worst soundproofing I've ever seen in my life. But
no, I know, but you have to work up to it, right? Like I didn't do that shit overnight.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, you spend money, you spend time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you spend expertise.
Yeah.
Like at Ryan's place, Ryan Forsyth over there.
Oh, it's killer there. I love it.
Yeah, Grimfricht.
Grimfricht Productions.
You can like. Because it's in his basement, so you can. But he's got it soundproofed like immaculately.
Really
it's
good.
So dry.
Really good.
In there, and like you can have drums in the basement. Like you did Conquering. I keep saying
Expired Utopia.
I keep saying Conquering Dystopia.
It's okay.
I did that at Dizzy's today. I was like, oh yeah, Derrick Kroll. He was in Expired Utopia. And they're like, wait, what? He was in Expired. I was like.
Conquering Dystopia is with Keith Marrow
Utopia.
And Jeff Loomis.
Yeah.
I get the two mixed up too. Alex Webster, yes.
I always associate Conquering Dystopia and Blotted Science.
Oh,
because they're basically the same group, I think, except it's somebody else instead of Jeff Loomis.
Yeah, Jarzenbeck, Ron Jarzenbeck. Yeah. Crazy
Yeah,
shit.
They're both just insane. Both of those products.
The Jarzenbeck brothers
over
are insane.
the top. Yeah. I was just listening to a bit of Expired Utopia again recently, though.
That's fun stuff.
Such a cool project. Yeah,
it was really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun listening to Mike Whale.
I know.
Like
he took some coercing to do that album.
Yeah.
It was like, please, man, will you just lay down your vocals for a project of ours? Because we need a singer, and there's not very many of them in the city. And I always loved his voice. It's like, man, you got like that Barlow sort of style to you. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like if it's with you and Ryan, you know, like it's nothing. You can't really say no to studio time. Like Ryan's just doing his own favors.
Yeah, and that's up there forever now.
Yeah, I know. It's great. And I think we are going to be doing something else, me and Ryan anyways. I'm not, you know, it's in the very infancy stages. Like I think he has some ideas thrown around and stuff like that. So whenever he's actually got full songs, he'll send them to me, and I have my own studio equipment. I can just demo stuff there. He's like, bounce ideas off him. It's like, okay, what do you think of that? And if he doesn't like that, he's like, well, you know, I have a different idea for that.
Right.
And then I do punch-ins, basically.
Yeah, and you can do actual recordings, too. Like,
I can.
It's so useful. Like, oh, if you have an idea, instead of, like, trying to explain it, but, like, just go do it. Be like, this.
Yeah, and I would just send him, like, the whole project file, basically. Like, raw tracks. Yeah, and then so he can do the EQing and all that stuff.
Pro Tools, yeah.
Yeah, he uses Pro Tools, but he also uses Reaper.
Yeah,
and I use Reaper.
I think it's like he records with Reaper and he mixes with Pro Tools, I think.
I think he's just doing Pro Tools now.
Yeah.
But he's learned in Reaper.
Right.
So he's got that background either way.
Yeah, I got Reaper on here, but my computer well, actually, it does pretty good with Reaper, but like my video editing program, my computer's just barely... Like, it's got asthma when that thing is open.
I know.
Lagging and barely able to process it.
And the more presets you put on there, the more it's going to lag.
Well, and that's the thing, is the more editing I do, the more, like, if I take a long video and I start cutting it in a bunch of places and I, like, put an audio track and I start adding, like, sharpening and, like, every tweak that I do makes it bog down even more.
Yes.
And if I do too much, the whole thing will just crash.
Does it go like,
so
does it make noises when you like crackling noises? Or?
No, but it like, even for the simplest functions, like scrolling the window to zoom in on the track window, like where all your track project things are, zooming in and out on that, it'll like, you zoom the bar and then it won't move and it'll go to not responding.
So it's got latency issues.
Yeah, but like it'll go to not responding faithfully. And then here you're on the gamble of whether or not it's going to be able to catch itself back up and work again, or if it's going to just like fuck right up and shut the thing down.
How old is it?
How old is the computer? Yeah. It's maybe 3 years old, but the two main problems with it is, one, it's an all-in-one unit. There's no tower. Like, this is everything.
Yes, it is.
And the other problem, which I can be a little superstitious about these things, but for good reason in my mind. But it was the store model as well, like the floor display. So it's got every Jim and Joe's Funky Vibes all over it, you know, and like right from day one when I got it out of the box, it was the last one left in the store. It was the store model, and like right from day one there was like weird little issues, and I was like, I know this is just because like some guys were just fucking around on that store model.
What issue of Windows? 10?
Yeah, Windows 10.
I would just put Windows 7 Ultimate on there.
I like Windows 10. I just hear the issues with it is like the privacy stuff. I think it's pretty user friendly.
It is. It can be, but you could always reinstall, like get rid of that version of Windows, install another one, and you'd be starting from scratch again too. And I think that could solve some issues. It really depends though. Like that might not be the case.
Reinstall Windows could clear up a lot of the misconfigured pathways and whatnot. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do, because I don't want any latency. I got a solid state drive.
Right.
So a solid state drive is like, it's pretty new. It's been like 5 years since it's been in existence anyways.
Solid state hard drive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So the write speeds and everything else like that, it's like mainly for editing. So when you're doing edits or when you're recording, there's absolutely no lag. So the write speeds when it's actually because I'm writing 11 tracks at one time. That's a lot of WAV files. That's a lot of WAV files. Yeah. So when I first started recording the Direwolf album, I decided to completely do the solid state drive. So basically, all you got to do is set your directory, and then everything you record is recorded to that solid state drive. Is going to be no latency. It's just the fastest speed, write speed you can get.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who I think he owns a business, or like, I'm not sure what his position in the business is. I think it might be his computer business, but he's very computer savvy.
Yeah.
And they just got a bunch of new computers at work, so all of the current parts they had, which were all still very good, like talking like i7 processors and stuff still.
Okay, yeah.
He was getting rid of them now because they got even more new stuff than that.
Okay.
And he was going to be able to throw together complete gaming computers for like $1,300, you know.
That's good.
And like custom builds, like you tell him what you want and he'll throw it
He'll
in
throw
there
the
for
specific parts in, like sound cards, video cards,
and he was just trying to like liquidate it, you know.
That's good,
so it was
man.
real good prices. But I had a bit of cash at the time too. I was kind of between jobs, but I just didn't have quite enough. And he was like, "You do payment plan," but
you can get a good computer for under that though. Like you don't have to spend that kind of money. I didn't. It's just a matter of having something like I have 8 gigs of RAM. You need enough RAM, right? And you need a decent motherboard, and you need a good hard drive with a good write speed.
A good video card. Well, for me, because I'm doing like video editing.
Then if you're doing that, then you need a good video card. Yeah. Same thing with like I have 2 interfaces that I'm running, so I had to link both those interfaces together. They have to be identical for what I was using it for. So I'm using 2 Focusrite Sapphire Pros.
Yeah, and the little 2i2 there.
Yeah, and is that a Scarlet?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I like the Scarlets.
I feel like I may have like damaged one of the channels a little bit or something.
Really? Is it just the input
I don't know
jack?
if that's something that can happen. I may be totally misreading the situation, but sometimes it just like if there's nothing plugged in, it'll still be like clicking and fizzing and stuff. And sometimes there's just like a lot of noise on the track, on the channels.
Condensed air. Try maybe cleaning the jacks.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
All those techies love putting condensed air and stuff because it's just like if you get rid of some of that dust, sometimes that really absolves the issue.
Yeah, because it's just making it not have complete contact, and that static is coming from the thing. Just
you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised like what compressed air can do, even in a computer like my tower. Compressed air.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you got it because the fan will get all congealed, you know, and
then you're overheating.
Yeah. It's you're suffocating it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Totally. It's crazy. How much time we got here left? We are wonderful. Oh, okay.
We're doing all right. Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah. Sweet. So, yeah, I guess past experiences in music. I'd like to talk about some of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What was the first band you were in?
Oh.
Was it it wasn't APHelion, was it?
No. I met Clay through my first band, and then me and Clay made APHelion.
Okay.
And all of these first projects we all made, they went through so many names. Like I used to just be able to list off the funny names.
Random names, the funny names
that we tried going through in the high school bands. Like, I think we were Donkey Punch for a while. That was kind of a joke, but
that's pretty hilarious.
We were kind of like a Green Day cover band.
Oh, okay.
I was really phenomenally lucky in that regard, and I'll tell you why after that. But we went by Narcotics for a while, and then we were ultimately One Day After because my birthday was a day after my drummer's.
Oh,
which is weird, actually. I've been in bands with like 3 people, I think, that have had that. I'm just trying to think.
I'm in one band right now with a guy.
My first drummer, his birthday was a day before mine. And then one of the singers that APHelion had for a while, who actually just passed away recently, which was very sad.
Crappy.
He froze to death in a river.
What?
Yeah, he was a troubled fella.
So he basically was that drinking and drugs or?
Well, it's like we don't know because he was kind of like he was a troubled dude and he was kind of involved in gangs and he had like just got out of jail and stuff and like I think there was people after him.
Oh yeah.
And like they just like found his body in the river one day and it was like, which was sad because he was from Calgary and he moved here to like get away from all of his problems and like we had a lot of really cool experiences together, me and him, and like we used to talk about like the problems that he goes through and like we used to like counsel each other and stuff, and then he'd start having crazy drug problems here, and he ended up getting involved in all that stuff here too, because you know you can't run away from your problems.
You can't, not if you're already susceptible to all that stuff and you got a serious addiction problem.
Yeah, which
man, I know, man. Like I've never been an addict, but I know plenty of people who are. It's sad to see.
Alcohol alone statistically takes out like 10% of all people.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like literally destroys your life.
Yes, it does.
Like 10% of people. That's a huge fucking number.
It's a huge margin, man.
Like,
that's why there's so many AA meetings.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like maybe that's something that people on an individual level should actually be a little wary of.
It's a family thing too, right? Like it's inherent in the family. Oh my God.
And all that.
If you see your dad and he's a chronic alcoholic and he's drinking in front of you when you're a kid, there's a good chance that you're going to become what your father was like in an alcoholic, right?
And I mean, like, if your father's an alcoholic, there's you know, a lot of times people say there's kind of two kinds, and I mean, I believe the world is very gray, you know, but
it can be, yeah.
For the sake of conversation, there's two kinds of alcoholics: the happy drunk and the mean drunk. You know, so
there's no real in
like
between.
if your dad is that guy, you're gonna have a fucked up relationship either way. If he's abusive or if he's like too passive or whatever, and like doesn't give a shit about what you do, like this can be equally as destructive, and then you're gonna be just like that.
It's such a biased thing for me to say, but I find that a lot of people who are alcoholics don't care. They're kind of nihilistic in the way that they view their own life and the way they view others' lives, because they're so, I guess it's with any addict really, that they're so involved in their addiction that they don't really view other people's lives outside of their own. And I think it's a very selfish thing, but it's not like they mean to be that way.
Yeah.
It's just...
I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about like how I think about arrogance, and it's like, I don't think a very common point of view. It's a detailed one, and it's one that I feel is evolved and molded, and it's a very good definition to me, but it's like not one that I can explain well easily. And if I were to just tell people like shit that I think, you know, sometimes, you know, like sometimes complete transparency isn't the best idea.
It's not. I even
feel
me
like
too. I'm careful with what I say.
Yeah, I'm careful, but I'm also like exceedingly open and honest. I find like sometimes like a lot more. Sometimes I just brain spew all the time. Like people who know me well, like know that sometimes I don't shut the fuck up. You know.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm starting
like, do you really think that and believe that? Like, I get that look sometimes from people. It's like, oh man.
You know, it's a good trick I've learned with that though, is to actually like stop before you say something in a conversation. And like everybody thinks that it's like it's really awkward in a conversation to have like a couple minutes of silence, but like because they think you're just like you don't have anything to say. But like sometimes it's like, no, I'm actually like thinking and processing. And it's like, give me a second to actually like figure out what I think. And then other people who like say, this happens a lot in an argument where there's no time between responses, so it's completely reflexive. Off the cuff. And you know you're not putting thought into that. And that's how you know you're not putting thought into that, is because it's instantaneous. You didn't have this, or I didn't have this process where I stop and go like, oh, like, what do I think about that?
I know.
You know, instead of immediately jumping to a conclusion.
And then afterwards you regret.
What do I think about that?
You regret saying certain things because of that too, because if I would have thought that through, I probably wouldn't have said that.
Or if I like, if I sometimes, you know, sometimes you get really angry or something in a bad situation, and you say something that like in your right mind you know you wouldn't, but like just because you're really pissed off, you're right behind that thing you said, you know, and it can get really hard to.
Everyone has.
Yeah, it's hard to be humble in that situation sometimes.
It really is. I find myself constantly looking at certain things that I've done in the past and trying to learn from all of my mistakes, as anyone should, but I find a lot of people don't do that. It's like, if you can't be honest with yourself, how are you supposed to better yourself? You can't really grow if you're constantly in reversal and trying to like, oh yeah, it's not me, it's you.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're not taking responsibility for what you do.
Pointing the finger.
Yeah. If you're blaming everybody, if this person is the reason that you're so upset about whatever it is that you're pissed off about, then you're giving them all your power to control your life and your state of being. So you're never going to have the power to better your own life, because this guy has all your power.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to be able to better your life unless this guy makes you. Or I mean, it's like that's kind of a simple way. It's really hard.
Like you say, that's a black and white sort of thing, right? But
yeah.
I know what you mean.
Totally. It's really a matter of like we have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, and it's weird, you know, the counterculture that exists today of responsibility. Like nobody ever told young men that they can actually like fucking work hard.
Yeah, I know.
These days.
Yeah,
like young men my age are fucking astounded to hear that it's actually an option to like work hard and fucking like do something with your life and like pick up your socks, and they're like, what, you can do that? Like everybody just told me I had rights and nobody had the right to fucking make me upset. And I didn't have to do shit because I'm so perfect, and all this is like no spoon feeding
time is over. Spoon feeding time is done. If you want to be any sort of like adult, you need to work hard. You need to be like, for me, I'm always on the go. Like I always have something to do. You're one of the
hardest working musicians I see around.
I always have something to do. Yeah, not only music though, just in normal life. My house, I got my job. You know, like everyone's got something. But You know, like, am I just gonna sit on my ass and do nothing and just watch movies for the rest of my life? No.
Nope.
I'll read books. I'll play music. I'll experience life. I'm an outdoors guy, right? I like being outdoors. Go for hikes. Go for walks. Ride my bike.
I just got a bike again because my last bike got stolen.
I got a new mountain bike last year.
Let's do some biking
this
summer.
Let's do it. I got a GT.
I need to get some crews going. I got a buddy that's trying to get me to commit to regular Wednesday evening bike rides, like after work bike rides.
That's awesome.
Because you can't go noon in summer; it's too hot.
It is too hot.
You got to do the spring and the fall, or like the morning or the evening.
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah, I tried a bike ride this morning and it was just a little too hot.
I do it on my lunch break.
A little too cold, but
I'll do a half an hour on my lunch break usually.
Yeah, half an hour is not bad too.
I'd rather an hour.
Yeah, just in the heat at lunchtime, I'm imagining.
Sweaty mess.
Yeah.
Me too.
Sweaty mess.
But it's not bad for you if you're sweating like that.
No, or unless you forgot deodorant.
I never do.
I usually don't, but I had a weird day the other day, and I went to work and I did, and I was kind of stinking up the joint, and I felt bad. It's like, you know when you're starting to smell yourself, and it's like...
oh yeah, we all know that smell.
It's like, if I can smell myself a little bit, everybody can smell you a lot.
If you've been on tour, you've all smelled that smell.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a break here, because we're almost out of storage, and I'm going to do a switcheroo here, and we'll come back, and maybe we'll talk about some tour stories. And
let's do it up. Let's hit flatulence. My God.
Yes, okay. Arrivederci.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we're back here. How was that break? It
was good.
It felt like forever, hey?
Yeah, no, it didn't feel like forever.
Pretty sure
Not when you're talking.
Yeah, no, and all these guys listening at home, you know, they had ample time to, go to the grocery store or whatever.
Yeah, or smoke your weed. Right?
Yeah. Unlike us.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking dry.
Yeah, it sounds like we're being ironical with that, but no, we're just hurting.
We're hurting. We're res men.
Yeah. If you want to go down that road.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, let's not.
Say we did.
Say we did.
Yeah, not say we did. That's right. Well.
So what's the most memorable thing that won't incriminate yourself that you can say that's happened on tour?
There's been so many different things that have happened. Oh, I can't remember where we were.
Everybody's got to give me a tour story.
Depends how many different things we can bring up. Crossing the border was always sketchy, especially when you're dealing with banned merchandise and you're dealing with
you got to claim it all, hey? Or?
Well, yeah, and you can't bring any commercial goods with you. So in other words, like vinyl, CDs.
You can't bring your merch.
You have to claim it. Shit. Yeah. So that's why bands will mail merch over the border.
Yeah.
Which costs more, obviously, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's always a bone of contention for the border. Whatever. But that's not even one of the better stories. We were all having a night of drinking after we played. I think it was in Seattle or somewhere. And it was called, we infamously dubbed it the Four Loko night. Because we were drinking beers to start with.
Loko.
Oh yeah, it's like an energy drink mixed with booze. Half and half, basically.
That watermelon one to me is just like Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
And the grape one is just like purple grapes. Like it even tastes like, or purple popsicles. It even tastes like the wood stick.
Yeah. Oh man, that shit screws you up. Screws you up.
It's basically a liqueur with like.
Yeah.
It's like 8.5% whiskey. It's a whiskey fucking drink, but it tastes like just candy.
And
like
the hangover is
fucking
brutal.
Syrup. Yeah, it's
brutal.
So artificially sweet. Yeah.
The FDA took it off the market there.
Yeah,
for a
it was
long time.
out for a while, and then it's because they had an ingredient in there that
they killed a couple.
Yeah,
kids.
And people were fucking dying.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like because of the thing or just because they were getting so drunk and like being stupid.
I think it was a mixture of the caffeine with the booze.
That's what it was.
And the heart
caffeine,
was palpitating like crazy. I think you're only allowed to have you were back in the day allowed to have 3 of them. Other than that, it wasn't advisable.
They took the caffeine out of them. That's what it was, yeah.
But anyways, we were getting drunk, and all of a sudden, we see our singer just sitting on the couch. He looks like he's like a zombie. And it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do to him tonight? Start writing all over his forehead.
Classic.
And oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, those are just small little stories, and there's another one. Of course, this is always involving our drunk singer, by the way. He took a dare, and we bought a whole box of pogo sticks. You know those hot dog things on the sticks.
The pogos.
Well, we dared him to put hot mustard on the end of it and shove one up his ass.
No.
And he was hammered.
Oh. It's like you only dare him because you know he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think it was like $20 or something like that.
It's like, man, the coating on those things are pretty soft. Like,
yeah, I think that's why he did it. He felt that thought he could get away with it. He probably did. I don't know. He's the type of guy who would do dares like that.
Oh yeah, no, I am
Sorry,
going. I am going too far in my analysis of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many stories. Like we were driving somewhere in BC. This is All Evil Survives stories because that's what the main band I toured with. That's like the most shows I've ever done. We were touring through BC. We were going through the Coquihalla, one of the big highways there, and we were touring with a band called Archon Legion from Vancouver. And we always play practical jokes on each other because there's like a convoy, right? Their van was in front of ours and vice versa.
Yeah, you're all
right?
driving together.
We're all driving together.
Yeah.
We both have separate vans. We both have separate trailers. We had this huge box of condoms. Yeah. So we open all these condom packages. We put Kool-Aid in it and make it look all bloody and red. So we throw that in there. And we throw the condoms at the other van while we're going down the highway. You should have seen some of the looks on these people's faces while we were driving by throwing condoms.
Just like a skull. You're just like, what is that blood?
Yeah. Oh, we had lots of fun, man.
It's when you just throw it straight up while you're driving, and then they just drive into
People
it.
think it's a balloon until it gets super shrinked. Oh yeah.
No, I've never done the water balloon condom thing. I don't know how the shape holds out on those bad boys, but
it kind of looks like an inflated balloon, but not quite. You know,
a little bit more tubular.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. It depends what kind you got.
Oh man, there's so many funny stories. Some of them all blur into one, but
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to building more tour stories. I only got a couple, and I can never even remember them. Oh yeah, we played in Medicine Hat at this.
Just a small little place.
Yeah, it was this clearly designed to be a strip club. You know, it was like the stage here, and then the middle was a pole, and then all the seating was like this tiny little bar all the way around the pole.
Okay. They fit bands in there probably.
Yeah,
just
and
whenever
it looked like a metal venue, and it was actually really cool. Like, it was a really cool setup. It was just kind of a shitty show night. I'll
Medicine Hat usually.
Yeah, I'll
is.
not say any of the bands involved, but the first band had a disagreement with their drummer, like half an hour before they were going on stage, and they fired their drummer half an hour before they were going on stage.
Wow.
And he took his drums and left. Yeah. Half an hour before their set was starting, and like we were supposed to use we're touring, we didn't bring the drums, we were using his drums.
Brutal.
And so was the next band, you know. Wow. They only had the kick drum.
So the show was off then.
No, that's the fucking horrible part about it, is that way they fucking went on without their drummer, and they advertised themselves as like a melodic prog rock band, and they were playing like what sounded like Christmas songs. Like,
oh my god!
Like they sounded like little kiddie school songs, church. Wow. They had like a one dude on a guitar, who was like, I don't know, very like has been taking guitar lessons since he was 7, but never been in a band.
Oh, you know, doesn't play well with others.
Yeah, or just like doesn't have like that musician like rock star attitude, you know, like he was just
confidence.
Like that innocent dude like up on stage, not really like putting on a show, just trying to like not mess
up. No real
fine,
confidence.
You know, it was good. He was a decent guitar player. It was fine, but obviously the band was having an issue.
Totally.
And then the singer and bass player, who seemed like the uptight one of the bunch, because he was the one who was like, no, like, I think it was him who was the guy who had the disagreement. He was the one who was like, no, we're going to go fucking do this set without that asshole, you know.
Oh my god.
And then the other one was a girl who was playing keyboards. It was the three of them, guitar, bass, singer, and keyboards.
Okay.
And they fucking played an hour set opening.
Without a drummer,
playing these Christmas songs.
Oh my god.
I feel like they might have been more genty if they had a drummer like
doing some
double kicking
rhythms.
it over top of
rhythms.
it or whatever. But
that's crazy. I would never go on stage.
And they were doing like these little Christmas harmonies, and it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
And then we went on and we rocked the shit out of our set. We fucking killed it. And there was these two girls that were just like headbanging the whole time. They were like up there and dancing and shit, but they were like headbang dancing. and then the next band after us was a metal band, which like Dizzy Mystics is a little out of context next to it was like a Flash Out type band, you know, like not like a metal band, but like a hardcore band.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Huh. So what? You had your drum set, and so did they.
And then they had. Okay, so, there was another band too, because there was a band between us and the one that didn't have a drummer.
Oh, okay.
He had his kick drum and a couple and like his hi-hat and a crash or two. I think he had like 2 crashes in his ride, normal thing, his hi-hats and his kick drum. No toms, or like no
rack toms.
No, he had a kick that didn't have the ports to hold a rack tom.
Oh.
And he had a rack tom with like a kick mount.
Wow.
Separate, but you couldn't mount the rack tom to the kick drum.
Wow.
Because it was like a shaved, naked kick drum or whatever you call it. It was a nice one.
Huh.
The guy's telling Jeff like you can't do any rim shots and stuff. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, got rim shots, bro.
Yeah, no kidding. Too bad.
Yeah.
We're not gonna damage your drum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But so this dude's got his one tom that still has the arm on it too, on a chair, on like a lawn chair.
You're playing that?
Yeah. Oh. So he's got his kick drum, his hi-hat, 2 crashes, a ride. No, I don't think he had a ride, or I don't know how he must have only had like a hi-hat and a crash or something.
Franken-kit.
Yeah, because he had the tom was like on an angle on a chair like next to him. And he was playing this tom like that. And Jeff thankfully convinced the next dude to let him use his full kit, because we're like, okay, we're like professionals and we're on tour here. Like, whatever, you guys are like having some drama and medicine hat apparently.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
But you know, we're just trying to put on a good show here.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, we ended up doing that and putting on a good show and then, but the guys after just kind of didn't really get like it was weird for me being in the metal scene and like coming up in the metal scene, seeing that was like my nature. Like I was really tempted to jump in and mosh, and there was like a bigger crowd for that last band, and they were the locals, and it was like their house, you know. It was clearly like where the metal band came.
Yeah.
And all the metalheads were there, and there was plenty of moshing and shit, and there was a bunch of girls moshing and stuff. And that's always great. We get lots of girls moshing. It's not like that's an irregular occurrence or anything.
No.
It's always a little inspiring to see, actually.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So there's a couple chicks in there giving her, right, like harder than everybody else, and the singer, you tell they were, I don't know, maybe this is like a egotistical point of view of mine or whatever, but I kind of felt a little bit like they were just like, oh, this touring band is in, right, and they wanted to like show us a good time. Yeah. This is me making this up in my head. I brought this up to the other dudes, and they didn't feel like they didn't get like these vibes. You know?
Yeah, I know. But everyone has their own thing.
Yeah, so I was like just trying to, because I was like I come from a metal thing, so I was like sympathetic, you know, and like. They're trying to put on a good show, and their fans were loving it, and they were moshing, and they're trying to get us, because we were sitting, we were tired, we were like not really in the metal kind of mood, and you were just going to watch, and like, you know, we're doing the professional courtesy of waiting till the end of the show.
This is medicine hat for you.
Yeah, right. But then they start kind of like giving us shit for sitting down a little bit, which I get, you know, and I understand it, but at the same time, it was like, okay, you're like, we're kind of trying hard just to stay this long. Never mind like getting up and moshing.
If anyone ever gave me, that's just whatever. I don't care how you take this. If anyone gives me crap for sitting down after a show, like
after your set, like
piss off.
Yeah.
Like I've done my due diligence here. I played my set the best I could. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna take a load off, right? Like.
I mean, like, those guys weren't up. And I mean, like, I'm defending a point that have made up in my mind about, you know, because there was nothing that actually happened to make us think that they were concerned with us at all. So this could
maybe you just got that feeling, that vibe.
Yeah, and that was kind of the vibe that I had. But I think I was just trying to be sympathetic, because it was like, well, and they were like, come on, like, what are you sitting down for? Even the girls are moshing and shit. And I'm like, what do you mean, even the girls?
But you guys just played a set, right? Like, there's a difference. Exactly. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I'm always trying to justify things, right? Like, not on purpose either. Like, for me, it's like, oh, well, I just played a set. I'm going to take it easy for a little bit. I'm going to go grab a beer, maybe sit down, enjoy the environment.
I just worked for the night. I just got off my shift.
And I'm sweating, and I'm trying to, like, stop sweating.
Yeah,
and, you know, like,
especially as a drummer,
Yeah, which is why, like, it's good to decompress after you just play.
Oh, yeah. I remember one of the first times, I don't know if it was one of the first times. I can't remember. It was one of the early APHelion shows at the Windsor. It might have been we played with, it was somebody's release for something. One of the first times we played the Windsor, and it was us and Dissolution and Endless Chaos.
Oh, I remember that show. Is that that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good show. That was a really good show.
Really cool poster for that show too.
I know. I see that poster.
That was Dissolution's CD release, I think, and that might have been like one of our first shows. And for me, I feel like obligated to have a good stage presence when I'm on show, and to jump around and to rock out. And that's part of the putting on a performance.
It's part and parcel. For sure.
Yeah. And that's something I really got from Flea. I think was like there's interviews with him where he's just like if you're sitting down at the end of my show, I have failed you. Yeah, I'm not quite that hardcore because if you want to sit down, take it easy. But
yeah, I know. I know. Oh,
sometimes my fucking knees hurt from being standing all day.
Oh, I know. Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, after that was,
it's okay.
Okay, well,
we got a lot there.
We'll continue on. The sound here is still recording, but the video is going to cut short.
Okay.
Yeah, and the first, I gave her as hard as I could. I was rocking out so hard, and I didn't realize how twisted my body was getting. I was twisting hard, and as soon as I got off stage, I could barely move. Wow. I had to just I went and I hobbled over to the bar and I got a beer, and I was just like, my back is but it's 'cause I was like doing this one. And
using muscles you never use.
Yeah, and then set it, using them in a way that makes them try to set like that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's worth it any day in the book. And after that day, I was just like, okay, I just need to make sure that I'm facing forward
and when I headbang. Use your body more wisely to.
Don't twist so much and stay square, and I do that a lot more. But yeah, I guess we're out of time here for today, man. Thanks
awesome.
A lot for joining me.
Thanks a lot for having me, man. That's wicked.
Good time. We'll have you back sometime soon. It'll be good.
Sweet. Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes. Arrivederci to all the people listening finally at home.